guys, welcome back to the Ballbusters. Today we are here to talk about Mortal Kombat 2021. I have with me Matt.
Howdy.
Caleb.
Greetings, mortals.
And Nate.
Eh.
Alright, so Mortal Kombat 2021. We did not see this one in theaters. It should be said first. HBO Max.
Yeah, I think that's what we all watched it on.
Yeah, probably about what I would pay to watch it on.
Yeah.
Unlike Godzilla and stuff, it wasn't something I necessarily had to see in theaters.
Yeah, I was going to say, without getting into ratings, I will say, I'm glad I didn't watch it in the theaters.
No, I think I had more fun watching it with friends than I would have had watching it in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
I guess before we get too deep into that, what did everybody think of the first two? Like the old Mortal Kombat movies from the 90s, right?
Yeah.
It'd be an Annihilation and then just Mortal Kombat, right?
Yeah.
I hate the first one.
I mean, let's face it, they
Yeah.
were both pretty terrible. They were both pretty terrible.
Okay, let me
but they had
rephrase
their
that.
ups and downs to them.
Let me rephrase that. I hate them both, but I think they're entertaining. Also, the reptile fight in the first one was pretty fucking cool. They had, I'm pretty sure that song, if I remember correctly, the reptile theme in that one was actually composed by the guy who makes music for pornos.
Sounds about right.
I like the Sonya Blade and Kano fight too from the first movie. I don't know. I think that was like Paul W.S. Anderson's. I think that's his name. Yeah, I think that's his most. What's up?
It was his first movie, right?
I think it might have been because it's my favorite of the movies he's made. The other ones I know of are Alien vs. Predator, Event Horizon, a good handful of the Resident Evil
That made
movies.
the first Mortal Kombat?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Man, I love Event Horizon. That was a good movie.
I think those movies nailed the costumes, though. I mean, I'll give them that. Like, I mean, Kano is a great example.
For what
He
they
looks
were a fun
fantastic.
time.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, horrible in the long run, but, like, they were pretty okay for the time when they came out.
Mm.
I mean, especially for a series that didn't really have a storyline at the time.
For a video
Like,
game
much of
movie,
one.
the effort put into it was more than you'd expect.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of pays off in the end.
I mean, at least it wasn't
Well, the
some,
first
like,
one at least, not the second. The second one was just utter trash. But
at least it wasn't like the Super Mario Bros. Movie. I don't know if you guys have watched that, but we
Yeah.
should do an episode on that at some point. That is a fucking piece of shit.
So I've heard.
they
It's
turn people into fucking Goombas, right? Or not Goombas.
the Koopas, but the Koopas look like fucking dinosaurs or something.
Yeah, but like they're like turned into Koopas. I forget how, but like it's like the machine, remember?
Mm-hmm.
More some and shit.
It was
It was
something
weird.
It was certainly a time. Nate, what do you think about the old Mortal Kombat movies? Are you like them or do you not?
I'm with all spectrums here in this conversation. You know, Matt saying they have their ups and downs, which they do, and you're saying they're both pretty terrible, but they're good to watch. Like fucking, I mean, Napoleon Dynamite grew on me. At first, I didn't like make any sense of that movie, but you know, it's kind of like that scenario. But I feel like Annihilation is just slightly better than the first one. In that aspect, the fightings or like the fight scenes were more cool. They could have done a little bit more with costume work.
Oh yeah,
I mean, maybe
they could have.
There's a lot of things.
I feel like they could have
Yeah.
added some special effects to some of them.
character arc too. Well, not so much character arc, but dialogue.
I feel like the characters were decently accurate though. Like
Yeah.
Kano and
To
well,
their-
specifically Kano and Sang Shun.
to like their video game character, yeah, they're not super two dimensional, but. at the same
Oh, I don't
time-
mean like character-wise. I just mean at least design-wise, like their outfits and stuff.
Wait, you talking about the old one still or the new one?
Old ones.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh yeah, once the new one is kind of different for sure.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what are we talking about again?
uh,
Again, for what it was fun. Going into that movie, I knew I couldn't take it seriously. There's just no way. And in that time period, there was just no way to make a movie as convincing and to convince me that it's actually Mortal Kombat happening in real life. It still felt like a bad video game at one point. But again, that's kind of just the whole Mortal Kombat franchise. It's kind of like Final Fantasy. It's now just been around so long that
It's like almost like a purposely oversaturated like franchise at times.
the point of it is the over the top, ridiculous violence.
Oh
you know?
yeah. Honestly, I got a soft spot for the old movies, as much as I don't like them, just because I watched them a lot when I was a kid. Just because it was like I had like 5 movies I watched a bunch when I was a kid, and like it was like Starship Troopers 1 and 2, and like Mortal Kombat 1 and 2, and then I don't remember something. It was something else. I'm trying to think. It was like it was Aliens 3.
I hate that one. The third one's so boring.
God, I like.
I didn't have.
No,
I
I
had
was
the
stuck.
second one.
No, I was stuck with the third one. So for some fucking reason, like we got it at a garage sale or something, but that was the only Alien we had. And I see so many times that I hate it. Every time I watch it, I'm like, this is not a very good Alien movie. But that's a different story.
I got stuck with it too. Actually, it was the only Aliens movie I had for the longest time. I hadn't seen the first one until I was in like high school. I remember the second one a lot.
I
Like
just
that
hate
was my favorite.
The over the top rapiness of all the prisoners in it. It just kind of ruins the movie in that one.
I think the only one I don't like. Well, really, the only ones I do
last
like
one's
in the
stupid.
series are Alien 1 through 3.
I like 1. I like 2 a lot.
2 is
3
probably
was
my favorite.
I like 3, but I'm
One
with
was my
Matt on that
favorite.
for sure. But like again, that is something for another time.
Yeah.
Back on track.
What were we talking about?
Cheese dip. Cheese balls. Shit.
dick
Mortal
cheese.
Kombat. Wait, no, that one was correct. And then the old MK movies. I mean, we can agree. They definitely like. I feel like we can all agree though. They did improve on it quite a bit in the new one.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was, for what it was supposed to be to what it turned out to be, I thought it was a very interesting movie. And it could have been a lot worse. Could have been a little better in some ways. But for like what you get from Hollywood, it wasn't the worst I've ever seen. Granted, I think they could have used less CGI and more practical effects on Goro. But other than that, I mean, that's really my only complaint.
I barely seen Goro. I just saw his back, and it looked like he had a bunch of back knee because I went to the bathroom. And holy fucking shit!
Dude, Goro is short-lived in that movie.
I mean, he looks alright, but in the end, at the same time, I'm just like, it's just pure CGI magic, and I can kind of see it if you really look at it. So it's like, again, practical effects would have been a little better to use, I think, for him.
That's definitely
because
something.
that's what they did in the other movies.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's definitely something I would give over the new one to the old one. Is their Goro. I always
Oh my
enjoyed
God.
like it's so goofy, but the whole thing is a practical effect. Like it is like a puppet. They did use some effects on it to touch it up, but
And it works in comparison to the CG they used for like Sub-Zero or Scorpion or.
yeah, very actually
Reptile.
that's a very like a very good point. Like comparatively, like fucking they put like way more effort I noticed into Goro than the other ones in that movie because like Reptile's CGI and fucking the old ones was fucking so shit, but like he
The
looked
new
really
one
cool in
was-
this ninja form.
Yeah, and I like him in this one too. He looked
Yeah.
really gross. He looked like a lizard. Like he looked like a reptile.
I'm excited to kind of see because I feel like that might not even been the one we know as Reptile. That might have just been like an assassin from his race. Because I'm kind of excited to see what they do with the next movie for sure.
Can't stop behind.
Very jarring to not have Johnny Cage.
I know, but like I like the end credit scene where they were like, this man.
Yeah, like look up. Like he's going to get Johnny Cage, and they're supposed to make a couple more movies. Is what it sounds like. You know.
I'll be honest, I wasn't a big fan of this movie, but one thing I will say about Mortal Kombat is it doesn't. I mean, it kind of sounds easy in one way, like to make a Mortal Kombat movie, you just follow the characters and the lore. But then it comes down to like developing a protagonist and like establishing who that is because there are so many fucking characters.
There you go.
Yeah, seriously. One of my main things I was excited about with this though was it was refreshing that a video game movie had came out that wasn't fucking booty. Like
Complete utter trash.
yeah, like I mean shit, we just came out of Doom Annihilation. I was actually legitimately afraid we were gonna get a Doom Annihilation and Mortal Kombat. Like I was like, ugh, trash bonkers mode. But you know, I was pretty good with the outcome. Like I mean, wasn't the greatest. Again, like, it could have had some improvements on it. Like, especially my main one with the, like, where it could have been improved. I just, not even necessarily an improvement, I just thought it was weird they made Sub-Zero the villain. And also, I thought one of my main other complaints was, like, it was weird, like, they made, like, I know they're kind of building Liu Kang up to, like, where he's gonna be, like, in the later movies, you know? Like, because they plan on making 3 or whatever. Like, I'm sure in the third one, he's gonna be, like, the chosen one, you know? But, like, the reason he was so, like dangerous in the original, like, timeline and, like, canon was because he was, like, pretty much raw talent. So it was kind of weird seeing him get beat by Cabal, of all people.
Yeah, and, I mean, like, in all the old ones, too, he kind of was the trump card, as in, like, in the games and all the like almost all the games, it was Liu Kang that ends up just kicking the shit out of Shao Kahn or out of anyone. I have to say the first time when Lung Kao shows up is kind of cheesy in the new one when he just like pops out from underneath his hat. Now I'm glad that they only did that once because I was like that looked horrible.
I get they were going for they were trying to do like his MK10 teleport because he would like spin and then he'd appear where
pop
his hat
underneath
is.
his hat. Yeah, I remember that. But
It
just the way
weird.
they did it just looked really weird in live action. I was like, okay, I'm glad you only did that once because I don't want to see that again. That was gross.
I was not a fan of him in this one. Like, I will say that out, like, right now. He's one of my more favorite characters, because I would play a lot of Shaolin monks with my cousin.
You played that one, too.
Yeah, and I would play as fucking Kung Lao all the time. He was always Liu Kang.
I was Kung Lao for sure, too.
He's cool. I always like the saw hat, like, kind of thing, because it was interesting. Like, he used his like chi to make the blade spin and shit like that, and I was like, wow, that is actually really nifty, and like that is a very unique kind of fighting style for sure. Although, like, at times I definitely like in MK10, there was like a certain skin of his that just I thought looked absolutely ridiculous. There was a few of them like they would make where he just didn't look like his hat just didn't look like it would be sharp. And I'm like, okay.
Right, are you talking about the ones where it like looks like there's like an inch of like area between like the hat?
Mm-hmm. It's like, or like there was like one with a straw hat. I'm pretty sure, and like it was goofy to watch people just get like buzzsawed by it across the map, like with a straw hat. I'm like, okay.
It's just in reality, he just looks like the Chinaman from Gears of War.
Seriously, he looks like the fucking level 1 dude. Nate, what was kind of your thoughts on it so far?
My thoughts on it, they kind of played the movie out like they did later games of Mortal Kombat, like, you know, very little like RPG-ish like dialogue, even though, you know, it's live action.
Yeah.
And then fight scenes like literally almost every 10-15 minutes, sort of, it seemed like.
Yeah.
There was a lot of fucking fighting in that movie. That is what brings it to an overall, I'd say, 7 out of 10 for me. Just the fighting saved everything from the dialogue to carrying it to the end of the movie. One thing I didn't like, though, was Kano. He was fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was truly annoying.
I liked it just because I felt like that was fitting for
it was. I thought the actor and the how he portrayed Kano was perfect.
Yeah,
because I mean that's just kind of Kano. He's a cocky son of a bitch and kind of a dick.
I can feel that though. Kano is annoying as fuck. Like
it's like
Kano is annoying, but I feel like definitely something they did on purpose.
He's your basic alpha male prejudice. You know, like
protagonist.
He's your basic alpha male protagonist. Like, you know, cocky, mouthy piece of shit, and that's that's who Kano's always been in the series.
Kind of like the Wade Wilson of Mortal Kombat, in a sort of sense,
except
but
way
he's
worse.
Yeah,
I
not
love
immortal,
Kano. But he's really fun to play in MK though. His like a little Kano ball move is so fucking powerful. I remember just like spamming the shit out of it on Jericho all the time.
I'd say it's weird. He was the standout. Like the acting was the standout for his character in the old movie too. I thought.
I really liked him in the old movie. I liked him in this one too.
I did as well. I like Jai Courtney. I'm glad. I'm pretty sure they're bringing him back for the new Suicide Squad, right?
I'm not sure actually.
I have to do a little more research on that. I'm not...
You know who I think was the best, honestly, in my opinion, was Jax. Jax was cool, and like I like that they went, like the way he lost his arms in 8, and they got frozen off.
Scene. That was fucking brutal.
That was really brutal.
When he got pushed off and hit that fucking side of the building was pretty. That sound was like smash. I was like, damn, he got fucked.
The actor for him was really good, but I couldn't shake the thoughts of like Major Payne. Like he didn't really look like him too hard, but at the same time, like at times I would just get like the vibe like he could totally be like a new stand-in Major Payne.
I love his finishing move that he uses too on the hammer guy where he just smacks his head and explodes.
That was cool.
I was like, I like how the finishing moves paid tribute to the game, but wasn't over the top cheesy. Like it wasn't like blatantly obvious if that's what they were doing, but they figured out a good way to work in a lot of them.
I think it was cool how he got his arms in this one. How it was kind of like Raiden gave them to him. But
I loved Raiden.
Raiden was really good in this one.
They did his effects like I feel spot on. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, I agree with you though. Oh, excuse me. I think Raiden and Jax by far were the best. I think my weakest characters in the new one was definitely like Liu Kang and Kung Lao. But like again, like I feel like
they felt forced.
Yeah, well, I feel like they were a plot device mainly, and like especially like Kung Lao, because all they did was have him be the teacher, and he's like criticizing everyone and all that, and then like Liu Kang, like they make him like out like he's like badass and stuff. He shows up and he fireballs Kano in the chest, and then he fights Cabal. And he's having a hard time. And, like, Cabal, I get it, he's really fast. But I'm pretty sure Liu Kang would beat the fuck out of Cabal.
Cabal's kind of a dumb. He's just like, he's like fucking Kano. He's just a mercenary.
Well, and also, not only that.
He's not very bright.
I kind of wish they would have done the Cabal where he was, like, how he was in the games. He was a cop originally, and he did help up until, like, he got, like, burned by a fucking centaur, and then, like, I think he died during the tournament, and then he ended up working with Outland afterwards. But I like Cabal. I think he's a cool character, and I think he looks fucking awesome, though. Like, I think that was a really good one. He was one of the stronger costumes, for sure.
I like the sound effects on his voice.
Mm-hmm.
When he speaks.
They nailed the robotic talk, where he's not, like, robotic, but he's, like, his, like, vocal cords got damaged when he got burned and all that, and, like, his lungs, so... that's the reason he wears the mask. It's not because he thinks it looks cool by any means.
It's a respirator. It's literally an iron lung.
Mm-hmm. It's a big respirator, and his, like, vocal cords, if I remember correctly, are mainly machine now. Cool character, though. Mm-hmm. But, final score for that one for me, I definitely would say, for it was a 7 out of 10. And that's very high for video game movies.
Oh, yeah.
Like, honestly, like...
Like, for what it was entertaining.
Yeah, and if we watched that one Mortal Kombat movie, we'll talk about that. The Scorpion one after this.
Oh, yeah.
We'll kind of touch on that a little, too, after this. But what did you think, Dan?
I wasn't the biggest fan, but it was... It had its moments like the old one did, I thought. So, not memorable, but not offensive either. I'd probably give it a 5 out of 10.
Dan just likes to pee on everyone's parade.
This is the first movie we've dedicated an entire recording to that I gave a negative review.
Shave your vagina,
okay.
Daniel.
Dan just likes
promise.
peeing on everyone's parade.
I just like peeing on your chest.
Dan
There's a big difference.
Dan just likes pissing on my sunshine, and I'm getting tired of it.
I would have liked to see a Baraka. I was kind of hoping to see a cool Baraka in this one, but, there's still a lot of characters we didn't see, so...
Mm-hmm.
Like Noob.
Yeah.
He's gonna
see Noob.
I feel like he's going to be in the next one, because Bihan, we've seen him, he died in this one, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And, if it at least follows, like, the original part a little bit, like, the original, like, source material, like, how it is, like, we'll probably see Noob in the next one or in the third one, because... He shows up because he goes to another world and he does basically the exact same thing where he's like, I want revenge.
Well, that'd be rather interesting to see. Maybe their follow-up would be slightly better than this? Who knows? Maybe just the same.
They have a lot of potential.
My
They have a
question
lot
is
of-
who's going to play Johnny Cage?
I hope I don't know. I hope they get someone like John Cena. Not gonna lie, I
But,
think
like-
John Cena would make a really good Johnny Cage.
But if we think about it this way, how are they going to make their influx of money back when I'd say half of people, like half of the people who would normally go to theaters watched it on HBO Max, like such as ourselves, like
HBO has to pay him a big amount, I think, for it to go up there at the same time. I feel like
I think for the amount of
Yeah.
time it's on they stream it, that they owe royalties.
yeah, I was like, I feel like because I was gonna say there's definitely a way they're gonna make their money back because they've
But,
already
I mean,
been confirmed
It's
for
like
their
yeah, it's like the
sequels.
Snyder Cut though and stuff thing too. It's like HBO just kind of just pays them a lot of money to put it on their site and have it first and have the best version of it because
Mhm.
it just in the end it pays off because more people subscribe, more people are on it, and then ultimately they win.
Yeah, it's like with
They lose in the beginning, but they win in the end.
It's like Netflix with their TV series, you know? Like, that's how they get all their money back, because they're just... So many people are
Well,
subscribing
it's like
and shit.
that's like
to
they
watch
subscribe
it.
to watch Stranger Things and stick around to check what else
I mean,
there is. You know,
Shit, I'm not gonna lie, I mainly started using Netflix to watch Ash vs. Evil Dead. I still have my Netflix.
the only reason why I have Netflix is so I can watch Breaking Bad and a couple other things like Dexter.
Dexter was a good one. I haven't watched all of it. My god. That shit was brutal.
I think the new revival is streaming on Showtime now,
Yeah.
or about to. One of the, I don't know. It's coming out soon though. If it's not out right now,
it's not. I don't think.
okay.
But Matt, what was your kind of final thoughts on it and like score?
I got about a 7. I again for what it was, I thought it was fun. You know, character design, costume design. I really liked the. I like the sets that a lot of the battles happened on. They didn't look too corny, but they also looked pretty accurate to the games.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was cool and how they brought that to life. Goro definitely brought a star down for me. How he looked and the CGI on him, they could have done a little better. But other than that, I think it was fun and I had a good time with it. So even 7.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought process on it. Again, like I feel like I probably would have scored it higher if it wasn't for Goro and then like I said, like Liu Kang and Kung Lao. Like, cause like it kind of stinks seeing your favorite character portrayed
Molina
poorly.
wasn't too bad either.
No, she was pretty
Well,
fucking
it was just like
Gross.
Lung Kao and whatever. It felt like they're so powerful in the games and they're very useful. In this, they seem pretty useless. They seem beaten and broken, like not like they wanted to fight. And I was like, that's not right. Like every time we've seen these guys before, they've been eager to fight. Like it's their passion to fight. But in this one, it kind of felt like they were like didn't want to fight, but they had to just cause. And I'm like, that's not really their story.
Because, like, again, like, a big scoring thing on me was, again, costume, like we were just talking about. Like you said, even Melina. Like, Melina's a great example. Her fucking mouth was fucking horrifying. I was like, holy shit.
Would not want to get my dick sucked by her.
Right?
Yeah, no, originally I was like, oh, they just like put blood on the side of her face. Okay, that makes sense. I
Yeah, then
guess.
she turns.
And then it, like tears open. I was like, oh, that was gross. But like, it's cool that they actually like went ahead and did that.
And, like, we were all, like, in agreement, I feel like, on the reptile part, because...
Dude, fucking reptile, I swear to God, just looked like maybe a solo sperm of what Godzilla would let out. Like, no joke.
Baby Godzilla. Well, what's cool about it, though, is, I liked the whole he is actually a lizard on it. I liked that in the original Mortal Kombat, because in, like, in the newer ones, he is a lizard. He's a lizard ninja, though. So I'm kind of curious to see if, like, again, like I was kind of saying, is maybe that wasn't even, like, the actual reptile we know, and we're going to see him in the tournament. We're going to see, like, a more ninja version of him appear, and I think that would be kind of dope. But I'm really excited for the sequel. Like, I'm excited to see what they do with it. They have a lot of potential, like, to make a really good sequel, and especially if it involves the tournament now. Like, I feel like the tournament is going to be either the second or the third part. Because if the second part is in the tournament, it's going to be like them getting there, and then like all the shit happening that builds up to it. But it was also kind of confusing because they defeated Shang Tsung, didn't they? I'm pretty sure they did.
No, Raiden just zapped him back to Outworld.
Oh, okay. I was like, I thought for some okay, that's fair. Yeah, I seen him getting blasted. I think.
Yeah.
I think most of my problems with the movie are more execution than they are creative choices. The one that I could not forgive, however, was that there was no tournament. I don't know. It's I'm kind of a sucker for movies like Enter the Dragon, where like it takes place during like pretty much like a competition fighting. So like the fact that the movie's called Mortal Kombat and there is yet no. Do they even mention the tournament? I would
Multiple times.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because that's what the
Yeah.
marking's for.
Yeah.
So I get where you're coming from, but I gotta disagree because like I'm okay with like a build up. I really liked like especially with like the Godzilla movies, like how they kind of released a couple films building up to Kong and Zilla meeting up. I'm okay with it, even being one more film before we actually get to the tournament, just because it's building up to the tournament,
It's giving us our
this
characters
level.
and our backstories that we want, but then in the end, hopefully, like the third movie will be just pure ass kicking, fun. But again, they also have to make their money back. They have to make it worth it, and they have to be able to hire the actors they want to make the rest of the show.
Well, and I feel like building up the hype is a good idea for up to the tournament, because if they cover the tournament in the first part, then they would have to like kind
Just
of
done and over. There's nothing more you can go with it.
They could always do like the invasion of Earth, which I feel like the third movie might be about, but I feel like they're gonna try to just do up to the tournament, and then they might do another like after that kind of thing. But I'm okay with the build up to it, because in 8, like the first half of the game, you're not even at the tournament. It's like all the like shit that happens, all the like the invasion, because Earthrealm originally refused Mortal Kombat or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then they ended up going
just
over
like
there and beating his ass.
It's like the Mortal Kombat versus DC too. Like you're not really in the tournament in the beginning either. They pull DC heroes, but they're more. It's
Well,
in
it's
their
like
universe. It's
that's like a crossover thing. I mean,
still canon, still part of it.
yeah, but there's also the option of it taking place in like places from like DC Comics or shit like that. Like,
Well, they just explain it as a multiverse thing.
Yeah, it was
Multiverse of heroes.
Darkseid and Shao Kahn were like combining or whatever, so they were making the two kind of fight each other in their like little tourney, and they were gonna kill the survivor.
And they started invading Earth, if I remember right.
Mhm.
Too. Yeah.
I think so. I know they were releasing the Rage. That fucking I hated that mechanic.
It was weird. That was.
It just all it did was enable. Okay, so it was.
If you're bad, it gave you an edge.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of the same way with X-rays, but I like X-rays more because you can at least like react to them. In fucking rage mode, people literally, unless they were one shot, they could literally fuck your day up so hard. I remember my cousins, we would usually kind of go back and forth, and we never use rage, and then like we'd have that one friend that gets beat like 3 games in a row, and then he uses rage, and it's like, so fucking annoying, because it's like they're
Again,
just
it's
unstunnable.
If you're bad, it's what it was.
It gives them that hyper armor, and it was just, when you have hyper armor, you can still hit while you're getting hit, and it's like, what the fuck? That's not a fun game mechanic, but I'm kind of excited to see where they go with it. Like, there's a lot they could build up to it. Like, again, like if they did the second movie where they did the tournament, where like I think they'll do, I feel like it's gonna be fucking like super climatic, and if they don't and they do it in the third one, I feel like it'll be even better, because we'll have all the story building up to that part where it will just keep building the hype. So if they do deliver this like super good fucking tournament like in the third one, that'd be awesome. But this is kind of a double-edged sword they're walking on. Because if they build up all this hype and then they release the third movie where it's the tournament and it's like the first fucking movie, not this, the one we just watched, but the original Mortal Kombat's fucking tournament where it was like 30 minutes of tournament basically, and like all the fucking like fights were like really short and kind of meh.
I feel if they didn't like have the money or want to spend it on good effects in the first movie, that it's good to keep it short. And I think the actual fight scenes themselves were filmed pretty well, actually.
Well, I don't know. I feel like they did put a lot of effort into the effects, like because I mean, again, look at fucking Jax's arm scene. That's my favorite example of like them putting effort in the movie is like holy fucking shit, dude. Like the amount of effects that go into his arms like exploding all over the room.
That's
Like,
point out. He had like a big ass shotgun, but he had no sidearm or pistol or anything. I'm just
Right.
saying, like,
Yeah.
well, that moment when Sub-Zero froze his bullet, he could have just been like, bam, 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 like, you know, like flung out like a sidearm to shot him in the chest a couple times.
if he would have
But-
shot like immediately.
He
He
would've
would have
probably
killed
capped him.
Sub-Zero. He would have blew Sub-Zero's fucking head off.
Yeah, he would have
He,
come
like,
around that
turns
corner
around,
and, like,
just-
peekaboo, boom.
If you would, like, because, like, you know, he's supposed to. That was something I thought, you know, they do that in movies a lot to kind of build suspense, like, holy shit, you know? But it's like, to me, I'm like, if he was any other character, I would have been more like, oh, holy crap, you know? But Jax is supposed to be, like, special forces. I kind
Well, and just like you pointed out when we first watched it, you're like, oh, I wonder what'll happen here. Here's Jax with his human arms going to get alone against somebody.
Oh, no.
Wonder what could happen to Jax.
What is he gonna get? His legs cut off now?
Yeah, I think
Okay,
he
Hold
is
off.
probably.
So,
Balls.
I did have a big complaint with the advertisement campaign, though. Not necessarily false advertising, too much advertising. They were advertising big parts of the movie. And they had, like, Jax's arms getting blown off in there was a good one. I remember that one's on my Facebook all the time. And I'm like...
And they had the Scorpion and Sub-Zero fight, too.
Yep,
Like,
and-
a quarter of it was on the trailer.
Well, and then also they have when he shows up with the chain in his hand, and he's like, right over here.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, again, I get your advertising.
Classic Mortal
You're
Kombat
trying
trope.
to you're trying to pull people in. I get it, but like, holy shit, leave something to the imagination.
Oh,
Like-
Godzilla kind of did the same thing, too. The second or third trailer showed all the scenes that we saw that we were...
Yeah,
I hate it when trailers do that, too. You know, kind of show you too much. I just like to see a glimpse of what we're going to get, not what we're
I
going to
like.
get.
Well, that's kind of one thing I always like with games. I don't personally. I don't look into things as they're coming out because I like it to be a surprise.
See,
When it comes out, that first like 10 minutes of playing a game, you know. That's so magical, like when you don't really know something. And it's the same thing with movies. Like, if you don't know shit, the first, like, 10 minutes at least are, like, magical, even if it's going to be a shitty experience, you know?
Well, it's nice because there's no... you have no opinion built around it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you watch so many trailers...
No
and-
expectations.
well, that's
so
how
many
it
games-
was for Infinity War for me. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the original trailer, but they were all like running down the hill and shit. But Hulk was in like full form,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And then in the
There was
movie,
there
he
was like 2 or 3 different trailers where things changed a little bit.
I kind of
Yeah.
like that they did that. So,
Marvel likes to fuck with people.
Oh yeah, well, and it knows the fans are paying
Or-
attention.
I
Right.
like... I kind of like...
Eagle
I kind of
Eye
like
viewers.
that type of advertising, though. Because it keeps you from learning too much of the show, but it gets you interested in it. Like, at the same time, it's like, shit, I would have liked to have seen like a full like Hulk in that fight scene rather than Banner in the fucking Hulk Buster. But, you know, I think it was definitely a nifty like little take on how they advertise it, and they do good at keeping it kind of lowbrow, sneaky, under the table.
Oh, well, it's kind of like the gag. It's like, hey, look, Thanos changed reality. It's no longer the Hulk. It's the Hulkbuster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's that whole kind of like that wonder. But that's also Disney. You know, that's just Disney movies, and we could go on about Disney for months and days about
And
all their
years
movies
and-
and tropes and stuff. But they do it well. They do a good job of showing you bits and pieces, but again, leaving the main climactic parts completely in wonder until you see it.
Mm-hmm. And that's how it should be. I mean, Doom Eternal did good with its advertisings. I feel like it
Yeah,
showed
looked
you
like
cool
a legitimate
scenes.
Doom movie, but then what it was horrible. But we can shit on that
No,
movie all day
fucking
long.
no, not Doom. Fucking Annihilation, Doom Eternal. I think
Oh.
I think Doom Eternal did a good advertising campaign because it showed you enough to get you interested. It showed you enough to be like, wow, that looks fucking insane. But it didn't really show you any story spoilers besides something that happens in the first 5 minutes of the game. The Hell Priest. And, like, you know, we all kind of knew the minute we were going after the Hell Priest, he was probably going to rip one of their fucking heads off, like, to be fair.
Mhm.
But I really...
Well, after 2016, too, we weren't really sure what we were going to get. Like, if it was going to be the same or if it was going to be different, but they did a good job. But, I mean, again, that's...
Fuck, I was expecting
whole
pretty much
other
the
story.
same... I was almost expecting the same game, to be frank, but...
I mean, okay, but think about it. Games like Mortal Kombat and stuff, like, you want it to be the same game. You just want it to look better. That's about all.
And
But,
then-
but you don't want it to really change the combos and everything even. Like, you really just want it to look better. I mean, that's the big thing. Is it needs to be more graphic, more blood, more bones, more sounds. You know.
That's why I feel like it was more of a video game movie, because it just played out perfectly like any like a later Mortal Kombat game would, where it would again just be like RPG like dialogue, and then just literally a fuck ton of fighting.
Well, they did good on the gore
like,
too.
Yeah.
They did really good on the gore. Like the punches and stuff, like it looked like they really fucking hurt.
The opening scene too, where you fucking the dude gets stabbed through the door of that little hut, and it just runs the dude runs the blade.
That was brutal. I was not expecting it to open that brutal. I was like, ooh. I did really like that scene.
That was sad.
The whole killing of his clan thing. I thought it was really nifty. I have my problems with it, as like I don't like Sub-Zero being the villain, because it just feels weird. I mean, they did it in the original Mortal Kombat movie, but it feels weird to me. I don't know why.
If you kind of think about it, Raiden's kind of a fucking cock. Like, the fact that he didn't even, like, it had nothing to do with Mortal Kombat, but he showed up, like, coincidentally, like, 5 minutes after he just got killed, and, like, he could have saved him. Like Raiden could have definitely showed up, like, a minute before, like, he was stabbed through the heart and died, kind of thing, and could have, like, saved him and his clan, but now Raiden was just like, I'm gonna let him duke it out, and then eventually the bloodline will figure it out. And it's like, okay.
I always thought that was goofy, because I know, like, Raiden can't necessarily interact with, like, certain things, but I always...
He could have.
And especially even in, like, original lore, you know, where fucking the sorcerer went in there, he was acting on the Dark God's behalf, so I don't see why he didn't just show up and stop it, because then, you know, in the tournament, he's like, he promised in 8, I remember, he promised fucking, or is it 9? I don't know, 9 I think, actually, but the one with the tournament in it before... Like, they kind of started restyling it where they were fighting the gods and shit like that. He was like, if you don't kill Bihan, I won't turn you, I'll bring you back and your clan. And I'm like, bitch, what the fuck? Why didn't you do that before the tournament? If you would have said something, you probably could have kept him calm before he went in and fucking murked him. Or, like, why didn't you show up when the sorcerer was doing something?
Obvious plot points, but, I mean, that's the whole point, you know. Again, going back to the other movies made in this kind of retrospect, the whole, like, coming from Asian stuff, it's, you know, there's a lot of movies that just struggle with the same thing as Mortal Kombat, where it's like, you know, Final Fantasy. Same fucking game, nothing really changes but the graphics. It just looks better, but in the end, it's the same fucking game. I mean,
very true.
It's just, you know, it's just how they adapt it and change it to the error and the time is really what, you know, defines if it's a good movie or game at this point.
I've always really liked the story modes in MK. Even, like, just the tower fights, I always thought were really nifty. Get a little backstory on your character. You know, you get some, like, usually about... And in the towers, you know, it would vary 4 to fucking, like, 20 people you could fight. And you could fight the whole roster. And plus, you know, the mini-bosses. Which I always thought was cool. Because, like, especially, like, how much they've been paying attention to the story. Like, they've always paid attention in, like, the older games, for sure. But nowadays, they've just been working on the story so much. Like, the story is, like, honestly kind of all over the place. But, like... very fittingly for Mortal Kombat, like to the point where it all makes sense.
There's 4 stories going on too, like depending what game and what era you're in, you know, there's multiple stories in games. It changes, but I mean, ultimately the idea is still the same. Outworld's a bunch of dicks, and you know, Earthrealm has to protect itself. That's the overall gist. Is like you can put as many fighters and people as you want, but the game will never change. It will always be the same. You know, the whole good versus evil kind of fight.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I don't know. I think they did pretty decent and like changing it up every iteration.
Yeah.
And especially with like, you know, with the movie, I like that they put their own implementations in it. I don't like all the things they did for sure. But I've always liked, you know, they added their own flavor. Like that's my big thing. Add flavor to your movie. Again,
video game movie, you can only go so many ways with it. But I'm excited to see what they come out with next. I'm excited to see where they take it and how, like, if they go, because they could be like Annihilation and make it just complete other horseshit, and very cringy second movie where it's not even fun. It's just horrible. It's bad acting, bad graphics, bad everything. Or they can make a movie that did even better than this one. Better graphics, better acting, better storyline, just slowly get better. With the movies, there's so many things you could do with it at this point, and it's just really up to the director and to the cast and crew if they're going to make a good movie or not. I mean, this one has gotten very good feedback, done very good, sales and stuff. So it wouldn't not be a surprise to see something go on, like something more become of us, even maybe a TV show or something, which would be interesting.
Have you guys seen the other Mortal Kombat movie though? And I don't mean the animated. There was another live action.
Legacy.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it yet. It's on HBO. We'll have to watch it sometime.
Okay, I was gonna say because I remember I don't remember like any advertising or anything. It was just out, and I remember seeing scenes about like Cyrax on there. And I was like, ooh.
It was weird. It was about as low quality as the first two, but in modern times. So, again, it was that one was like, this is horrible.
So, fucking Baraka in that one, or if I remember correctly, he's not even like an outworld like creature. He's actually like a fucking
doctor.
Yeah, he's like a mad doctor.
He's a crazy doctor that implanted blades into his arm and just went nuts, and he's like, for some reason, Jamaican too. It was weird.
It's like Joel Schumacher Batman, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't understand why like game movies do that sometimes. They take a character with a pretty straightforward like background.
Hard to fuck up like storyline, and they fuck it up.
Well, and then they overly complicated it. Like it's so weird. It's like they didn't even have to like explain it super hard. They could have just been like, he's here because the other guys are here. Because like Reptile was an actual lizard in that one. And then, Cyrax and all of them, the Cyberlin Quay initiative was part of, Outworld's plan. So I'm like, why not just use that? But
I'll be interested to see Shao Kahn in the future movies, too. That'll be interesting.
With the amount of effort they're putting in so far with, outfit-wise and stuff, I'm excited to see how Shao Kahn looks. I'm wondering if they're going to go for more of his human look or more of his dragon look, though.
I think Batista would honestly do really well as a Shao Kahn.
Batista or The Rock?
Batista. The Rock would look good too, but I don't think I could take him seriously if The Rock was Shao Kahn, because it's just like
he just walks up with his hammer.
I could take Batista seriously.
What can I say except you're welcome. Just bashes a motherfucker. If Batista played him though, he'd be too good at hiding, Matt. I feel like Batista would definitely be a good one because, fucking Dave Batista is just jacked.
Yeah, he has the body for it.
Built.
Like I can see it in my mind right now. The belt, this belt with the skull helmet and the hammer. It all kind of goes together on him. I mean, he already almost did it, a couple times.
I hope if they do, I hope when they do introduce Shao Kahn, I hope he's more dragon personally. Hulk Hogan or Macho Man Randy Savage.
Welcome to Outworld, brother.
Or Sam Jones.
Dude, they should get Sam Hyde to play fucking Shao Kahn. I'm just saying.
Can they just have The Undertaker play Shao Kahn? And then it just turned into a WWE match in the end?
All I'm saying is it would be dumb and out of place, but if they had the fucking Undertaker just randomly show up and choke slam someone in the tournament scene, I would pay so much more money. I would literally that would immediately get it a 10. I wouldn't even care if the movie sucked.
I mean, yeah, because they do actually add in some characters if you buy the bonus packs, like Freddy, Jason, Predator, Alien.
Well, I wonder if in the movies coming up too, if they'll touch on something like that, if they'll pull in some random, Warner Brothers own show, which I mean, it's not opposed to doing. They're not opposed to doing something specific like that. They could have a cameo.
I would totally be down for an MKDC Universe crossover movie.
That would be cool.
Or movies, 2-parter. I think it would be better animated though. Live action could be cool, but it would be so much better.
There's just so much more you can do and express with an animated movie than you can a live action movie. And in the end, you're going to make more money off of it. It's going to cost more, but it's going to look better. It's going to run better, and it's just it's just going to be better. I enjoy the animated movies. I like the Scorpion's Revenge almost better than the live action movie of Mortal Kombat. Just because of what they can do with it. It's just the fact that with that type of animation, you can do so much and really express how overpowered a person can be. But with live action, it's just very hard to express that.
I loved, though, my biggest thing with the fucking animated movie, I loved that they had Scorpion's voice actor from the games in there. I thought that was awesome. Like, he sounded fantastic, too. Like, oh my god.
Well, and they stuck right to the story too.
Mhm.
Like it was, they didn't veer off or make it weird. They stuck right to
Mhm.
what you know going into it, and just reimagined the same story yet again, but just another new light. It's just that's what the story of Mortal Kombat will forever be. 20 years from now, when they release Mortal Kombat Scorpion versus Sub-Zero in 2040. It's going to be the same fucking story, but it's going to be the graphics, the gore, and the moves that are going to look better consistently, the outfits and stuff too. And it's going to be a constant upgrading on upgrading, but it's just it's literally just patchwork for an old game.
Well, and especially with, like, video game movies, there's only so much improvement they can do with them. So, like, as it goes on forward, like, if they keep, like, making more, like, video game movies or, like, retellings of, like, Scorpion and Sub-Zero, like, it's exactly like you're saying. It's just going to keep looking and sounding better. They might even be able to stretch it out a little bit longer, kind of thing. But, hopefully they'll eventually do that with Doom. We'll get a good Doom movie one of these days.
One of these days.
One of these gays!
One of these gay days. Gay being happy. And all that.
So, favorite MK game from any console, any decade? Go.
X. I really enjoyed X. I enjoyed playing as Alien Predator. I thought the graphics were incredibly fun and the moves were fluid and fun. And I think that one overall was my favorite game.
Deception for me, for the PS2, it was my introduction. I think of the games for the PS2, that one stuck out to me the most. As far as gameplay and character design. I feel like that one of the PlayStation 2 games may have been the goriest. There was some really cool extras and bonus content in the game I really enjoyed for the time. And if I remember correctly, I think that was the game that came with a demo for Area 51. I would say Deception.
I'm kind of in agreement with Matt and 10, just because I really like the Rouster.
Which is really fun.
I like Triborg a lot because he had a secret character you can unlock. Or unlock in quotations. You had to do a little combo on his screen when you would select him, and it was Cyber Sub-Zero. And Cyber Sub-Zero was fucking fun. Because how he worked is, like Sub-Zero dashes around on his ice. Mm-hmm. He literally would be doing that, but he's like so much faster and lighter than Sub-Zero. So one of his attacks, he would slide back, make a mace in his arm, and then slide forward and bonk you on the fucking head with it. And you could combine it into a slide uppercut, and then just like start beating the fuck out of him, kind of thing.
I also like in 10 how it had the different variations of your characters.
Mm-hmm.
So like you could play Lightning Raiden, or you could play what was it, something Lightning Raiden.
Yeah, there was Lightning Trap and like the staff version.
Yeah, and it's just different variations, and each one looked really cool.
Aaron Black's was my favorite example. Outlaw version, he's got the cowboy hat on. He's got like the gun, or that's the gunslinger. Then like the rifle one, he's also got the hat, but he's like got like a fucking big ol' fucking gun on his back that he can do different combos with. And then the Descartes blade, he's not wearing his hat. He's got his fucking mask is a little torn. He's got like the blade though, and it's cool because it changed all their combos. It wasn't just like.
It wasn't just a skin. Yeah. It was itself almost a whole other character.
Again, Triborg had, I think, in my opinion, the best example of that. Each variant of him was different. You had the Smoke, you had Cyrax, you had Sector, and then you had Cyber Sub-Zero. And, Cyber Sub-Zero is pretty badass, but... my main complaint with the Mortal Kombat games, and specifically, X, 10... was literally just there was 3 or 4 characters that had combos that you couldn't get out of, but that was about it really. I had way more complaints with 11. I think 11 got way too complex with its fucking character customization necessarily.
I was very excited for it, but once I played it, I still haven't finished it. I just did not have fun with it.
I played it for a long time.
It was blocky. Moving in it felt like an unfinished game to me.
I played it a lot. I played a lot of it. I played a lot as Cabal, and it just, I don't know. It was its armor thing is a good idea executed poorly. Like, you could have totally done something different with it. I think it was interesting. I think they definitely added some cool characters in. I popped back in there a little while ago because my friend buys all the DLC.
Like Kronos and stuff.
He plays it all the time, and they added in Rambo on there, and Rambo is fucking really fun to play.
Like the Terminator 2, I think.
Mm-hmm. The Terminator, okay, by far, favorite DLC character is him on there, and like any game, because what's cool about him is one of the versions of him, if you beat the shit out of him, his like skin falls off, and then he just stands up as his skeleton, and he has hyper armor, and he has like a quarter of his health bar, and like if he defeats you that round, he has full health but loses his hyper armor.
True. What about you, Nate? What was your favorite Mortal Kombat game?
I'd have to say X myself, but if I have to be more specific, XL.
Mm-hmm.
All the DLCs and stuff that went with it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm on Caleb's side with Terminator just fucking being fucking nuts. But I've also mopped the floor using Jason before because he has wicked combos.
Mm-hmm.
I love playing as Predator.
How's Leatherface in it?
He's alright.
He's
kind of like another Aaron
kind of
Black.
like
where
what you would expect him to be.
Yeah.
He's like Aaron Black, where if you know the combos, you will fuck someone's day up.
I see Leatherface as like, so if you were going to play, like, say, you and your friend were going to play some Mortal Kombat and you're obscenely good at it and he's not, you would play as Leatherface to give him kind of an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Because it takes more talent and more time to understand and use him. Because otherwise he's just kind of smacking and swinging shit, but like if you use him properly, his combos are what deal damage. But the rest of him is kind of very slow and bulky feeling.
That's kind of what I expect.
Yeah, again, what you would expect. But again, it makes sense because, that's just how that character would be in that situation too. He'd have to have combos and really just give it all. But like if you're playing against somebody that's not very good, it would be a fair time to play as Leatherface.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Leatherface from the original movie too, because if it were remake Leatherface, it would be like an OP fucking piece of shit character.
Yeah, it's OG Leatherface. It's like I think like up to like the original like canon, so like the first I think like 3 movies.
Borderline looks like they just plucked him straight from the movie.
First 2, yeah. What is the second? Is the second one with Chop Top? Cool. I like Chop Top.
I love that movie.
Another favorite character out of that game of mine is Cyrax. He has some fucking OP repeatable combos that's just ridiculous, and so does Noob.
Dude, Noob Saibot is
like,
just OP.
He is literally just a down up, and he does this like portal thing. Takes you and then like flies up and then slams you on the ground.
Yeah, that
right
was in 9, right?
Did anybody else
No, that was
notice
10.
Was
in
it?
11?
I think so.
Beautiful.
Did anybody else notice in 11 how Shao Kahn, the other god, the blue god, I keep reading his name, the Indian looking one. I can't remember his name. Shao Kahn, him, and Kronos all had like the same moves. Did anybody else notice that in 11? Like they had the kick and like didn't like the punch, but their specials changed, but like their little like their normal hits were exactly the same.
Are you talking about Gyros, like the time guy?
Yeah, that was Kronos, but yeah.
I'm trying to think of which one you're talking about.
No, I'm talking about the blue. He's blue, and he's got like the headdress, like the native headdress on him. He's like a god. I think he's who the wizard worships.
Yeah.
Just can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Oh my god.
But him and Shao Kahn have like the same, like in 11, they had the same fighting moves. And I wasn't very impressed with it because I was like, they both just have this, like, it literally felt like a Shao Kahn skin. But that was just my opinion. Anyway.
In 10, he had that spammy ass fucking range attack. And that thing was fucking horrible.
No, dude, fucking DC Mortal Kombat. I remember Corey used to be really good with Shao Kahn. He just get me stuck in a corner to keep hitting me with the hammer. And because it has that big sweep on it, you can't jump over or under it, so it just fucking smacks you in the corner. And if you just literally will just keep me there, and it was to the point where it's just like this stupid.
Yeah.
The same with Liu Kang though. Like my brother was great at Liu Kang because he just donkey kick you in the corner multiple times and just keep spamming the same thing. And there's just nothing you can do to get out of it.
Yeah.
Another thing I liked about 10 too was using the environment to
Mm-hmm.
fucking throw shits or do things like you could throw people at your opponent.
I loved throwing the praying monks on fucking that one tourney stage. That one was awesome. Or not tourney stage, it was the Shaolin Temple one.
Fuck, that makes me want to play some Mortal Kombat.
I'm gonna be bringing my TV out here, I'm pretty sure, either tonight or tomorrow. I want to like re-download MK10. We'll all have to fight each other on there a few
I'm
rounds.
going to be playing some Mortal Kombat with the Sandman here in a second. Get over here.
That's it. I'm getting ready to cut some logs.
Caleb just hears upstairs, thump, 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 boom. Just
better
better than
than-
sand's just like pouring out of the door. Be like, I got him. I fucking got him.
Again, there's just blood and sand everywhere. Man, what the fuck?
Caleb just hears to finish him, and this hears the dunk, dunk, dunk. And you're like, what?
I don't want to go upstairs. I'm scared. Matt's just standing on the stairs. I challenge you. Challenges the house ghost.
Well, that was pretty much it for Mortal Kombat 2021, and we move further and further on into the year, and we finally have some more films to watch, more new content to check out, and we'll be back for which movie's coming out next that like sound really good.
Nothing.
Yeah, realistically.
I haven't really seen anything that catch my eye anytime soon.
We're gonna be definitely.
Well, I guess the new Marvel movie, the Chinese guy, it looked kind of interesting. Then we have Multiverse of Madness coming out, another Captain America. We got a lot of Marvel stuff in the way. We have
Got a new Halloween, got a new Quiet Place.
Yeah, I want to see the new Quiet Place. I want to see Halloween too.
I know I'm mainly looking forward to eventually getting some gameplay out. Because we got a lot of like really interesting shit coming out soon, and
Yeah.
I've been finding really
I
cool
wouldn't
stuff.
doubt
Sure.
though this Halloween we might see another Chucky, maybe not Chucky. What do you think we're gonna see this Halloween?
I would.
We're gonna
hope-
definitely see Scream.
Yeah, I was gonna
Is they gonna
say.
remake Scream? We're gonna see a couple of remakes. Oh, the Wrong Turn remake's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, we got that one Wrong Turn remake already too, where they're like tribal people instead. Have you seen that one? Holy shit!
I've never
it's
seen any
weird.
Wrong Turns. I just know that they're remaking.
Oh
it.
man, we're gonna sit down and watch them. They suck after the first one in the original trilogy, and there's like 8 of them. I'm
Though
pretty
gotta
sure
see,
there.
Dan
I
showed
like
me.
the first two. I like the second one the best, probably. But
I gotta say though, on another note, I watched Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas today, and that movie is beautiful.
Yeah, that's probably gonna be.
I've been
an episode
hyping that
to look-
movie up for a long time, and he was the first person to show it to me.
I just never got around to watch it, but then we watched it today, and I was like, this movie's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something to look forward to. We're definitely gonna end up having to do an episode on that. That show is fucking something else. It's beautiful.
Well,
Oh, God,
from New
oh,
York
God,
City,
oh,
I think
God.
we wish you a good night.
From New York City.
Dun 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 dun. Mortal Kombat!
Get Ogre here. Shrek skin for Scorpion.
Oh my god! No, Shao Kahn would be Shrek. You kidding me?